Hey, welcome back to our weekly real estate podcast. My name is Ken Angst. I'm the team leader of the Angst real estate team here in Northern Nevada. Hope everyone is doing well out there. Hey, it's that time of month that we are reviewing the numbers from the Reno Sparks Association of Realtors for the month of April 2021. And we are giving some quick tips to anybody that's out there selling or buying a home. So let's go over the numbers. Obviously, everyone knows by now that the Reno Sparks market is very hot and prices are escalating quickly. Right now, what we're looking at for the end of last month, the median home price was $494,500, up about 2% from March and up a whopping 19% year over year. So a shocking increase in the median home price. Keep in mind that the median home price means half the homes in the area are above it and half of the homes are below. If I'm a betting man right now, what I would be saying is that median home price is going to go over $500,000 for the month of May, just because what we're seeing is still a lot of multiple offer situations and a lot of offers over asking, and they are actually closing. So don't be surprised if we hit locally a median home price over $500,000 for the month of May coming up. Units sold was 570. Up an expected 22% from April, or from March. So we can kind of see that the number of units coming on the market is increasing and selling. So that's a good thing. Days to contract just means that once you put your house on the market, it's taking about 18 days right now for you to get an accepted offer and move into escrow. So that is a quick number. Most houses that are actually priced fairly are actually going in probably within 4 or 5 days. So 18 is a very low number compared to what's relatively going on in our market. The active inventory right now is still very low, under 300. We're at 295 for the month of April, and that's down a whopping 70% year over year. So at this time last year, we're probably looking at 700 to 800 homes or even more on the market. So the inventory remains tight, and our sellers and buyers are very aware of that just because of what we cover on our channel every week. New listings actually increased by 5% to almost 640 for the month of April, and was up around 9% year over year. So a lot of new listings coming on, and as I've said several times on this podcast, I expect the number to actually increase, the number of listings, as we move into May, June, and July. And that's just because, historically speaking, people start listing their homes once the kids are out of school and want to get settled in and start planning for the fall. As everyone knows also, if you're in the market, we're seeing about 103% of the asking price, generally speaking, on all the listings out there, and people are getting it. In some cases, I've seen as much as 10 to 15% over on several listings that we just recently closed. So we'll talk about that, is if you're a buyer, what to expect and how to handle that. And the absorption rate just means that if there's no more homes that come on the market, based on the number of homes that are selling and being listed, it's one half. So basically, if we don't have any new homes coming on, we will run out of inventory in 1 month or less. So a few tips that we are still giving out to our clients out there. First, I'm going to talk about sellers. Teresa and I show a lot of homes, probably 50 to 100 every month. We have a lot of clients looking, and we see a lot of atrocious houses. A lot of people are just throwing their house on the market, hoping to get top dollar without really doing anything. So We don't actually recommend that to any of our clients. What we're recommending is still fix your house up and get it ready. And if you have one of my books, and if you don't, we kind of go through the top 3 things that aren't very expensive that can really make a difference on making your house look great. Obviously, you want to declutter, so you don't want a lot of knickknacks, a lot of personal photos around. So go around and declutter. Obviously, we help our clients make recommendations on all that. We're doing that right now for this young couple that have lived in their house for a while. The next thing you can do is, if you have any kind of budget, is maybe paint doors, paint rooms that are weird colors. Fresh paint is a very inexpensive way to make your house look great. The third thing is do a deep clean. Have someone go around, clean the carpets, clean the floors, and just kind of go through, especially if you have kids like we do. We know how hard it is to keep the house cleaned and make sure all the crumbs are picked up. The other thing that we're seeing a great benefit of is having someone clean your windows. And if someone saw our podcast today, we have Matt Dickens with Simple Clean, came out, did our windows, did a fantastic job, and it really makes a difference. So those are the 3 main tips that we have for sellers. Now, the other thing that we're seeing is quite a bit is on the higher end. A lot of the homes are actually coming back on the market. Back on the market, you'll see, and we get a lot of questions why. And a lot of the times, people get into escrow, they make a great offer, well over asking, and they get the home inspection back. And they're like, wow, there's a lot of things that are wrong with this house, and they get cold feet, and they can back out according to our contract. So one of the things that we're recommending for our higher end listings is actually get your own pre-home inspection done. And what does that mean is that you go out, hire a home inspector that we use, have them do a home inspection, just to make sure that everything's in order. Now, obviously, depending on the age of the home, there's always something that our inspector finds. And we go through the report with the inspector and yourself as a seller and make recommendations on items that you should fix. And a lot of it is just health and safety. You don't want broken outlets. You want all your electrical working. You want to make sure your carbon monoxide, fire alarms are working. And just basically look at health and safety and make sure that everything on that side is good. And what the advantage of this is as a seller, once you get in the contract, you turn this report over with the seller's real property disclosure form, and it just kind of makes the contract go smoother, in our opinion, especially on the higher end listing, because they know before they make an offer what to expect. Now, this does not necessarily mean that they will not hire their own inspector, but our home inspector is good enough where he catches the majority of it, and we're able to mitigate it up front. And then that takes away a lot of the power, in our opinion, of buyers to negotiate something that's out of the blue. So that's one of the new tips that we're kind of recommending in this market. The other thing is that if you are thinking about selling your home and moving up, we have a lot of those clients doing that. We're actually having one that's hopefully closing next week. There's several options, and if you've been following our channel, there are a ton of things that you can do to make yourself non-contingent. Obviously, if you're trying to sell a home and buy, and you're submitting an offer saying, I'm going to sell my home first, you're not going to have a lot of luck. So the 2 things, and I'll put some links up there in the podcast to discuss what a bridge loan is. Basically, a bridge loan allows you to cover both houses at the same time, so you can go into a situation where you're not contingent. And then what happens is you kind of cover the mortgage for both, and then once one sells, or once you get into your new residence, it allows you to sell your old one, and it makes you non-contingent, which is a big thing, particularly if you're trying to move up in this market. The other thing is that we've had great success with is actually listing your home before you find a replacement home. And what that allows you to do is get in escrow, and it's a contingent sale actually on you finding a replacement home. So they can't close, and typically they have a 30 to 60 day window they give you to find a replacement home. And as long as you get in contract within that period of time, what happens is then we close simultaneously, and you are not contingent. Well, you still are contingent, but your home is actually in escrow. And once your home's in escrow, and if you've done a pre-home inspection, then a lot of the items that could cause a contract to fall through are mitigated, and that actually helps you get into your house that you want to move into. So keep those tips in mind if you're a seller. Moving on to buyers. Buyers are tough right now, and we're not going to lie. A lot of, we're seeing still multiple offers on almost every home that we have our buyers putting offers on. So our first tip is have a great team in place. And obviously that means having a great real estate agent like myself or Teresa or the Angst team on your side that knows how to navigate these multiple offer situations, because a lot of it is relationships that we have with our peers. So we have, if we're well known and your realtor's well known, it goes a long ways in getting you into contract. The other thing is make sure you have a local lender. If you have some lender, big lender, or non-local lender, there are problems. Just because, agents are not necessarily excited about a lender that's out of town, out of state. And a lot of times we've actually won contracts because we use someone that's local. And in some cases, one case, the seller was using our lender, our client's lender, to buy their home. So they were very gracious and were excited to accept our offer just because it was the same lender. And we work with some of the top lenders. And if you've been following our channel, we've been interviewing them and getting great tips for you. The other thing is that you want to consider an appraisal waiver. And if you might ask, what is an appraisal waiver if you're a buyer? I actually have a video. We actually talked to Brian Cushing of Guild Mortgage and talked about what it is and what to expect. Now, there are different variations of appraisal waivers. Sometimes you'll see full appraisal waivers, which means that any difference between the purchase price and the appraisal. So if we buy a house at $500 and the purchase price is $500 and the appraisal comes in at $450, you have to make up the full difference. Go over the video that I'm going to put above to find out what exactly that is, and make sure you understand that is before you are deciding to go through with that method. The last thing is you need to be patient. I still think in my mind, based on the historical data, that more and more homes are going to be coming available. And it's going to remain a tight market, but I think that here in the next 2 to 3 months, there'll be a lot more inventory. So if you're still looking, the other thing that you need to do, and it's kind of an oxymoron, is be aggressive. If you see a home that you like, make sure you let your agent know and make sure you're turning in a clean offer. Don't offer anything for repairs within reason. Obviously, if the house, you can't afford it, we don't want you going over your budget, but be aggressive and put together your best offer and your best foot forward and kind of see where the chips fall. And it sometimes takes 2 or 3 offers to get into the swing of thing on how things work. So lastly, I really appreciate everyone's support out there for following my channel and on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Instagram, and on YouTube. We are getting a lot of subscribers, a lot of great information. So the last tip is follow our channel, like our channel. Please hit the like button and subscribe. We are coming out with great content every month. For example, tomorrow we are interviewing Lynn Scott over at First Centennial. She's a senior escrow officer over there, and she has some great tips. And you're going to find out on a live video what a title company actually does, because it's one of the great unknowns out there, people who haven't done this a lot. And we're going to educate you about the escrow and the title company. So with that being said, you guys have any other questions, feel free to send me a message on LinkedIn, reach out on social media, like our videos, or call us in the office. We would love to earn your business. Our number is 775-525-0309. Until next week, you guys make it a great one, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks.